The hum of my old desktop was usually a comforting sound, a backdrop to late-night coding sessions or navigating the endless scroll of ConnectSphere, the community Skillshare app everyone seemed to be on these days. I use it mostly for finding quick tech support gigs, swapping broken hardware, or sometimes just to see what odd jobs people in my district needed doing. My profile was basic. Kai, 20-something, good with computers, willing to help. One rainy Tuesday, a notification blinked. A new listing, flagged as urgent, from a user named Serafina. The request was unusual. Need assistance cataloging an antique book collection. Quiet work, generous compensation. Discretion essential. The location was on the far side of Ashworth Creek, a part of town that was more old money and shadowed lanes than the bustling streets I knew. The proposed payment was triple the usual rate for any task, let alone sorting dusty books. My bank account was looking particularly lean. Why not? I muttered, tapping accept. A message popped up almost instantly. Excellent. Serafina, number 7, Blackwood Lane. Tonight, if possible, around 9 p.m. Sure, 9 p.m. works. I typed back, already feeling a knot of unease. Discretion, generous compensation. It felt like the start of a low-budget thriller. Blackwood Lane was less a lane, and more a tunnel carved through ancient, overgrown trees. Number 7 was a Gothic-looking house, all dark stone and pointed gables. Ivy crawling up its sides like skeletal fingers. Only one dim light glowed from a downstairs window. As I parked my scooter, the ConnectSphere app on my phone chimed softly. Kai has arrived at task location. Creepy. I hadn't enabled that kind of tracking. The heavy oak door creaked open before I could knock. A woman stood silhouetted in the dim hallway. Serafina. She was older, maybe late 60s, with sharp eyes that seemed to absorb the dim light. Her silver hair was pulled back severely. "You're Kai," she stated, her voice a low murmur. "Come in. Don't mind the chill. The house retains it." The interior was vast, cold and outside, and smelled of old paper, beeswax, and something else, a faint, metallic tang I couldn't place. Bookshelves lined every wall, floor to ceiling, crammed with leather-bound volumes. "The collection is extensive," Serafina said, gesturing vaguely. "My late husband was a dedicated collector. I need them inventoried for the estate. Start in the West Wing, please." The app has a checklist feature you can use for each title. As I pulled out my tablet to open ConnectSphere, she added, "I'll be in the study. Call if you require anything." She disappeared down a dark corridor. The West Wing was even more daunting. Aisles of books stretched into the gloom. I found a dusty roll-top desk, pulled up an equally dusty chair, and began the painstaking process of logging titles, authors, and conditions. The silence of the house was immense, broken only by the occasional sigh of the ancient structure settling around me. An hour passed. My phone buzzed. A ConnectSphere notification. Task book catalog in progress at 20%. Estimated time remaining, 8 hours. How could it know? I hadn't input any progress. A faint scratching sound came from the far end of the aisle, like nails on wood. "Serafina?" I called out, my voice sounding small. No reply, just the oppressive silence returning. I tried to focus, but the unease was a living thing now, coiling in my stomach. Another hour crawled by. The metallic scent seemed stronger here. I logged another book, The Vermis Mysterious, its cover unnervingly cold to the touch. Suddenly, a low whisper seemed to slither from the shelf behind me. "Not that one." I spun around, heart hammering. Nothing, just rows upon rows of silent books. "Hello," I said, louder this time. "Is anyone there?" The silence pressed in. My hand was shaking as I reached for my phone. Another ConnectSphere notification. This time, a direct message from Serafina. "You seem distressed, Kai. Is the task too demanding?" Her study was at the other end of the house. How could she know? Before I could type a reply, another message. "Perhaps a break is in order. Join me for some tea." I didn't want tea. I wanted out. I stood up, my legs stiff. I should probably get going, actually. I called out, "Hoping she'd hear. It's later than I thought." As I moved toward the main hall, a floorboard creaked upstairs, a heavy, deliberate sound, like someone taking a slow step. Serafina emerged from the study corridor, a delicate teacup in her hand. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Nonsense, Kai. The night is young, and our work isn't nearly done." "I really have to leave," I insisted, trying to keep the tremor out of my voice. "The app indicates you committed to the task's completion," she said smoothly, her gaze unwavering. "It's a binding agreement, you see. ConnectSphere prides itself on user reliability." She took a slow sip of her tea. "My husband always said, a commitment is a cage of one's own making." My phone vibrated violently in my hand. A new NetSphere notification. No text this time, just an image, a live feed. It took me a second to understand what I was seeing. It was a view of the roll-top desk where I'd been working, filmed from a high angle, as if from the ceiling. A faint red recording light blinked in the corner of the image. My own hunched figure was visible just moments ago, before I'd stood up. "How?" I whispered, looking from the phone to Serafina. Her smile widened, and this time it was all teeth. NetSphere is about connection, Kai. True connection. It learns. It adapts. It ensures tasks are seen through. From the dark recesses of the West Wing, a new sound. A soft, rhythmic dragging. Getting closer. "What did you do?" I asked, backing toward the front door. "I merely facilitated," Serafina said, her voice dropping to that same, chilling whisper I'd heard amongst the books. "The house has needs. It has an appetite for new stories, new entries for its collection." The dragging sound was at the end of the hall now. A shadow detached itself from the deeper darkness, tall and impossibly thin. My phone screamed with final NetSphere alert. Task book cataloging has been updated. New item added. Kai, pending acquisition. I didn't wait. I threw the heavy oak door open and sprinted into the rain-swept night, Serafina's low laugh echoing behind me. Almost drowned out by the frantic buzz of the app, one couldn't seem to uninstall. The silhouette of number 7 Blackwood Lane receded in my scooter's mirror, but the connection I knew was far from severed. The app was still active, and it knew where I lived.